I will be brutally honest. Ain't nothing but being brutally honest. Coming at you with another video.
What's good?
What is up, man? Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome my guy, Keith Murphy, man. Long time no see, man. I know it's been like a long minute since you were on the Beach Rider show, man.
Yeah, I used to go on that show a lot.
I know, like the good old days, but I guess you're kind of making your return back, man. You've been doing some streams here and there.
Well, I used to just go on people's shows or whatever. Now it's like, man, I'll start my own stuff, like whatever. Up to like 200 subscribers, like you said, it's moving slow, but I mean, I more so do it as a hobby. I haven't really thought to get into like what you're talking about with TikToks and all that.
Yeah.
That light is clearing back.
Oh, yeah. No, light's bright, man. But salute to East Coast Red and Gold Podcast. Salute. Not sure if that's Ty or or is it Jess? That I'm not sure which one it is, but I know it's one of the guys that do the podcast.
What's that?
No, just salute to that podcast. Yeah, bro. You know, I kind of been doing different changes on my channel, bro. Like, usually I'm just strictly keeping it sports related, trying to stay away from the drama and all that stuff. But you know, coming into this week, man, were you surprised we destroyed the Jaguars, man? I didn't even think for a second we would even destroy them. I thought it would be a decent game.
Well, once the game got to going the way it was going, I wasn't surprised. Obviously, coming off a 3-game losing streak, I was apprehensive, but to see the two teams on the field, I was not surprised. Going into the game, yeah, I was shocked, but from what I thought Saturday. But once the game started, I felt some sort of like comfort, man. I don't know what it was, especially after that first drive. I was like, oh, man, these boys can't mess with us. And a healthy Niners team has been unbeaten.
Yeah. You know? And people forget that we didn't even have Trent Williams. We didn't have Debo out there. I mean, we were kind of missing a pass rush too. So it was kind of hard to create pressure. Like, this is why Kirk Cousins had a good game on Monday night, because he was barely touched. And Joe Burrow. Yeah, Joe Burrow may have got sacked a couple of times, but he still had a field day. So there was no way. PJ Walker, like, how the hell did this guy win a football game is beyond me. It's because our kicker cost us the game.
Well, not just that, our running defense that game. We gave up like close to 160 yards rushing. And for a quarterback like PJ Walker, we didn't make him make enough plays. He still threw 2 picks. So that's just ugly. I mean, that was just an ugly game, period.
It was ugly performance overall, but now you look at the quarterbacks who, I mean, I guess you could minus Watson on this one, but man, the 2 quarterbacks who beat us are out for the season now.
3, like, all 3. Well, yeah. Well, Watson didn't beat us, but their team did. So, yeah, Kurt. I mean, I think Minnesota's actually going to be okay. Dobbs is shown to be more than a competent quarterback. I mean, he played us. I thought he played us pretty well with Arizona. They didn't win games, but they competed. I mean, they did beat the Cowboys, so there's that.
I mean, with Dobbs, there's at least a little bit of better talent compared to what he had in Arizona, so there should be at least maybe a wild card team if he keeps winning, but I don't know what's going on with the reports, but it looks like they might even go back to that other quarterback. I don't know if it's true, but if not, man, wouldn't that be smart?
Well, I think they get Justin Jefferson back this week.
Oh, yeah. He's supposed to be coming off IR. Speaking of players coming off IR, we just got Daryl Luter activated.
I saw that 5th round pick.
Yeah, I heard some upsides about this kid. I don't know. I mean, did you get a chance to check him out from South Alabama or no?
No, I didn't. But one thing I can say is Shanahan and Lynch during their regime has hit well in these late draft picks, mid to late rounds. For whatever reason.
It's like we find some guys that nobody even bothers to draft. Like there's some guys who can be 3rd round talent, but they slide for other reasons. Like Hufanga, I think the only reason why he slid because he didn't run a fast 40. I think other than that, he's a ball hawker.
Right.
Dre Greenlaw, I think the reason why he slid so far because he wasn't quite a big name in Arkansas. Everybody just didn't know who he was, but Niners did a lot of due diligence. I mean,
Hufanga
was a guy that everybody was talking about, but it was because he couldn't stay healthy and he wasn't fast. So that was another reason why he slid. I mean, there's a lot of guys. I mean, we've got a lot of blue chip guys. George Kittle, for example, I think he would have easily been a top graded, but he wasn't quite much of a receiving tight end coming out of Iowa. So he was a blocker mostly.
Well, I think that's because I don't think Iowa threw the ball a lot either.
Nah, they were a run first team. He was more like a guy who did the dirty work, and he takes pride in that the most.
And so, I mean, it's a perfect storm. I think he could actually be better in a pass-happy scheme as far as receiving. I don't know. But so, yes, let's get back to the Jags. Once the game played out, it didn't shock me. And like I said, a healthy Niners team, we've pretty much done that to everybody, right? I thought that they would be better offensively, but Trevor Lawrence looks pretty pedestrian right now. He just does. That's just the facts of it. ETN, once we had him bottled up, they really had no answers. Ridley, Kirk, I mean, they just couldn't get anything done. And a couple times they got momentum. Ambry Thomas forces a fumble down in their red zone. And like you said, I think Chase and that defensive line felt invigorated, and they were meeting and hitting the quarterback. 5 sacks, forced fumble, 2 picks.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What surprised you coming out of that game?
Oh, dude, what really surprised me was it going to make any difference with Chase Young? And I kind of had some thoughts and say, man, if we were to get some pressure to that quarterback and make him force bad decisions, maybe. But I was more concerned about our secondary. Like, I'm like saying, dude, I don't think it matters with our secondary because even with a pass rush, sometimes it does help a little bit, but it doesn't ignore the fact you have some weakness on the secondary areas because there's going to be a couple of teams who are going to hold up well. And that's one thing. But what really surprised me about this matchup against the Jaguars was, dude, we didn't even allow them to score a freaking touchdown, and they weren't even doing squat, bro. Like, the thing about Trevor Lawrence, bro, anytime he had a snap of the ball, bro, he had nowhere to throw the ball. He kept running for his life, bro. I was like, this is the defense I remember.
That's right.
But we gave up 3 points, and Steve Wilkes making adjustments, but I think in the first 5 weeks, nobody was complaining about Steve Wilkes' defense, man.
Well, when you're beating teams 42-10, 30-7, there were some things I saw in there. For example, the run defense was not. It just didn't seem like our defensive front was married to our secondary at all. And then O'Connell with Minnesota was able to exploit that, and so was Cincinnati because Cincinnati hasn't even been running the ball, and they ran the ball down our throat. And so I think the bye came at a perfect time for us to regroup, retool, get back healthy, and we're a team that needs to be healthy. That's just what I think. If we're not, I don't know what our ceiling is.
Yeah, our ceiling was pretty different. Like, we were going through a slump a little bit, and things were just going against us. We couldn't stop a drive. The first 3 games the 3 games we lost, we couldn't stop a freaking drive to save our life.
Right.
But seeing how our defense made the stops on Jacksonville, I'm like, is this the defense we had against the Cowboys? Because if we can get that defense back, man, we're in business. But 2 turnovers, that was definitely the dagger. Oh, here's another guy on another podcast. Wilk Leonard recap, man.
Yeah, I've done a show with him.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. I think he's been on my channel a couple of times on the comment section, but it's been a while. It's good to see you. But I know, but it caught me by surprise. Like I thought this was gonna be a decent game. I thought Jacksonville was for real, man. I thought this game would have been a shootout kind of game, but the way we came out in this game, we were super pissed. We were coming off with some mentality like, man, enough of these naysayers, man. Enough of this. Oh, Philadelphia ain't all that, man. Dallas, they ain't all that, man. Detroit, you ain't all that. We're coming pissed, man. Come on, man. We're the real deal.
Right.
That's what it seemed like.
And let's look at, I want to say their 5 wins. The 5 wins that they won in a row, they beat Atlanta, Fugazi, in my opinion, or phony. Yeah. Buffalo is looking like they're going to be, unless they get it turned around, they might not even be a playoff team. They beat Indianapolis, New Orleans, and Pittsburgh, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm a big person about when I'm looking at how good somebody is or what they're doing, I go look at their schedule. You know what I mean? And the strength of opponent for Jacksonville, to me, wasn't that strong. So I favored us to win the game. Now, to your point, that I think it was going to be 34-3. But once we've shown that's how we win games, man. We get up a score or two. If we turn you over, we get that ball rolling downhill. We're going to run, pass. And before you know it, you're down 21-3, 27, and then the game is over. It's almost like the game gets away from our opponent. What I want to see is us win those games like Philly has been winning, right? Those games that are highly contested, maybe you're trailing, and you're able to sustain those one score. Those are the real NFL games. We're not going to go out and smash everybody 35-3, 40-10. So
yeah, that's not our style of game, but it's like for us, I don't know if we're built from behind. I think the way we're built is once we have a lead, different ball game. But like you said,
obviously, what's Shanahan's record trailing in the fourth quarter?
Not that good. Not good, man. It's like we can be down by 7 in the fourth quarter, and it might be too much pressure for a quarterback.
Right.
But like you said, if we can play in these type of games, like for example, man, if we can get this kind of game against Seattle and just come from behind and win this ball game, bro, that's what we're looking for, those type of games. But we don't know, bro. It might just be one of those massacre blowing out cities, bro. We might just come out really hot to where – because when it comes to November, December football, we are on a roll, man. We're just fire. Like
we struggled in October lately.
Yeah.
Think about it this time last year. We had already had losses to Denver, Atlanta, Chicago.
Yeah.
And who was the fourth one?
No, that was it. No,
we were 3 or 4.
No, it was Chicago,
Denver, Atlanta,
and Kansas City.
No, Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City blew us last year. They blew us last year.
Yes, they blew us out, but I'm saying we lost to another losing team, a terrible team.
No, it was Atlanta and Denver.
Atlanta, Denver, Chicago,
and then it was just Kansas City. That was it. The terrible loss was the Chicago Bears on the weather, but I think the Denver Broncos was the worst loss because they weren't that good.
They weren't.
And we lost by 1 point on a Sunday Night Football, which should have been a difference maker between home field advantage, bro. If Jimmy would have just kept his foot in bound, bro, we would have won.
Yeah, they did. See, yes, our offense lost us that game. You're right. Our offense lost us that game.
Yeah, those 4 losses were like – the one loss was more like, okay, I get it. It's Kansas City. It is what it is.
Right.
I can live with that. But Atlanta, I don't know, man. I can't live with Atlanta beating our ass.
Well, I was at the Atlanta game, right?
Yeah.
And our whole defense was hurt.
Yeah.
I think that game,
no
7 or 8 of our defensive starters didn't play.
Yeah, and Atlanta took advantage of it and ran it over down our throats. So It's hard to stop them. And if we would have had our full strength, maybe we would have beat Atlanta. But that was a terrible loss. Even like you said, 8 of our starters were out. That was tough. But
I mean, they ran the ball down our throat. Arthur Smith called a hell of a game plan, and we couldn't score. I mean, I think they beat us 28-14. I think Ayuk had both of those. I was at that game. It was a lot of Niners fans at that game. Atlanta Falcons fans was talking shit.
A lot of takeovers over there, from what I was told.
Yes, yeah, it is.
But I mean, you see how the vibe is every year. We always come up with a slow start, but this year it's not that bad. Like the previous years, I think we started off 3-5 in 2021 and went on a winning streak. The other year was 3-4 or something, and we went on a winning streak. This year it was just 5-3. Now it's 6-3. But can this really continue on to a big roll? I mean, you never know. You never know how this plays out and all that stuff. So, huge shout out to Danielle. How's it going? She's a co-host for Friday's show. We do this every Friday called The Saga.
Yeah, I listened to y'all last Friday.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to make it, but I was on there commenting and talking. She's good, man.
Yeah, she knows her stuff, especially when it comes. I don't know about I don't know what's going on with USC, but I don't know what the game is. What time is that game going to play? Because she's a big-time USC fan.
Oh, man, she's struggling then. Hey, good thing for her is Caleb might stay in school next year.
Yeah, is that Keith yet?
Yeah.
No, that's a different Keith, not Keith Lewis. But it's
But I think me and her were talking last week. She misses Harbaugh. I remember Danielle.
Oh, okay. Then I guess she must refer to you then, because there was another Keith we had on before. It was Keith Lewis the other time. Yeah. She's funny, yeah. And she said she was going to try to get me her brother to come on my show, but it's kind of a work in progress. He's an athletic director or a reporter or something.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, but yeah, dude. What I like about the vibe sometimes on Twitter is sometimes I don't really like going into those type of groups, bro, because sometimes they like to debate and talk shit. I don't really like to listen to it like that. I respect them if they do their debate shit, but I'm not trying to get into an argument with these guys.
Right.
It's like, it's one thing to talk sports, but when you have a different opinion, they're just going to bash you, and I'm like,
People going to be people. I'm going to do me regardless.
Yep.
So she said it's Marcus Thompson, the Bay Area Athletic. I guess
that's her brother.
Okay, cool. What you want to hit next, man?
What's been going on this weekend? Let's talk about this matchup, man. Everybody's been kind of like talking about this game. What do you expect this game going to be like, bro? We got the Buccaneers. I don't know, like something tells me this can either be a good or an ugly game.
This game going to be an ass whipping.
Oh, see, I knew you were going to say that, bro. I knew it. See, that's what changed the energy. Once we had that Jacksonville win, it's just we got to have that confidence, man.
It's a breath of fresh air. You know what I'm saying? And we needed that victory. I don't see how they're going to block our front. That's it, Danielle. Maybe you can help me out with that.
Hey, we can all help each other out a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, I could be a defensive line guy because I'm a little pushy with my D-line.
The one thing that will give me cause for pause with this matchup is we beat their ass last year. I mean, they took that game off national TV.
That was with old man Brady, where he didn't even have it no more. We're going against a guy who's actually got a strong arm, kind of risky. Yeah. I mean, we played him before when he was with the Browns, but the only thing I'm more concerned about is just Mike Evans. That's it. Mike Evans, their running back's nothing special, bro. He's just a receiving back. He's not quite.
I don't think they even run the ball that well.
They're like the worst.
Now, this year they do have Winfield back. He didn't play against us last year. So I think their defense might be a little bit better.
The one thing they have is that Vita Vea guy. He's a
and he went out of the game against us last year.
Yeah, but he's a good run stopper, so he can be very effective. The one guy they have that concerns the one guy that concerns us a little bit for their defense is Shaq Barrett. That's it.
Right.
Shaq Barrett is like their best outside rusher. He's the guy that gets to the quarterback. And they got this young kid who's kind of like another Aaron Donald clone, but I don't know what his name is. Chauncey something, or I don't know how you say his name. But he's really, really he's kind of like their best interior defensive line besides Vita Vea. But I think Shaq Barrett's like the only player you probably have to game plan against the most, and then their linebackers are good. You got Devontae Davis, who's like a really good linebacker for decades.
He's been good.
Yeah, and then Devin White's just a fast linebacker, bro. Like this guy makes the plays, but I feel like we should be able to match up pretty well.
I agree.
I mean, if we can get enough time on the pocket,
I call him Glock Purdy.
Glock
Purdy.
Pistol Pete.
Yeah, man.
That's a good name.
That's a solid name.
But what does that mean, Pistol? Is that a character?
Pistol Pete?
Yeah.
Pistol Pete actually was a basketball player. You remember him?
Oh, basketball player.
Pistol Pete Maravich. Used to play for like the Celtics, but he was a big time scorer at LSU. And so
that makes sense.
It's kind of like, I mean, tell me if I'm right, Danielle, if that's who you're referencing. But
yeah, I don't know who Pistol Pete is, bro.
He was a big time basketball player from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, I never got a chance to watch those days of basketball. I only just remember Jordan and Abdullah Jabir.
Yep.
I only heard of those names, but yeah. Yep, you're right. I think Brock Purdy is just his own story, but how do you feel about this one game, bro? Like Baltimore is already coming up an injury. This could really hurt Lamar Jackson now, because who else is going to rely to? They got this other tight end that hasn't shown much. Maybe with limited playing time, maybe with more opportunities, he's probably going to showcase it, but no Mark Andrews.
So this is how we know Brock Purdy is not elite yet. Guys like Lamar and Pat Mahomes, when they're missing guys, or as we see with Mahomes, his receiving core isn't quite what it has been lately. They compensate. Their talent can still make those things go away, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, you don't want to lose Andrews. I mean, he's Lamar's number one target the last 5-6 years, right? Since he's got into the league. But I think Lamar can make up for it. Obviously, they're going to miss it because he's one of the top, what would you say, 2 or 3 tight ends in the league?
Yeah, he's like one of the top 3.
Yeah, it's got to be between him, Kittle, and Kelsey, right?
Yeah, they're like, he's like right neck to neck with them.
Right. So I think Lamar will be able to overcompensate. I think he'll be able to compensate for that loss with his talent. But it's not like Cincinnati where you lost Lamar. They lost Joe Burrow for the year. They're done.
Yeah, they did. And the sad part was, I don't know if you saw what happened, but those fans were saying something like disgusting.
Oh, they were? The Baltimore fans?
Yeah. I don't know.
What were they saying?
When we show the video, like it's a sound, I'll show you the sound. Yeah. It was like after the game was over, some Bengals fans showed me this shit, and I'm like, damn, I never thought they were this crazy. But that's insane. That makes them look like Raider fans now, if you think about it. Like who does that?
Right.
I'm gonna show you right now.
Playing the Pittsburgh Steelers next, a division opponent, another grinded out game. They're going to try to run the ball because you're not going to put the ball in Kenny Pickett's hands and say, "Hey, go beat these."
You didn't hear it?
What was they chanting? I couldn't hear the chant.
Let me try again.
The biggest thing, you're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers next, a division opponent, another grinded out game. They're going to try to.
I hear it.
Yeah, it's like F Joe Burrow. Oh my God, bro.
The thing.
That's even out of line.
Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with that if fandom, like if Geno Smith come here or Matt Stafford and the fans. Now, if they're doing that while they're carting him off the field, I have a problem with that. You know what I mean? But if they're like, because I need the context of the chant. Were they chanting that like after he went back to the locker room, or were they chanting that before the game? You know what I mean?
I think they were chanting like it was after the game because Richard Sherman was talking during post game. It was put out there. I mean, like you said, if it was during before the game or something, that's understandable. But that's like, dude, after the game, why? That's beyond.
Why they call them fanatics, because they do crazy shit.
Like Eagles, you got Eagle fans who do that stuff too, but then Raider fans are like the worst too. I mean, you get a lot of that. But yeah, it's just insane. Like,
let's get to her question real quick.
Oh yeah. Can you guys see the defense getting back to the explosive nature? I see the physicality of Dre Greenlaw. He's kind of getting back to the way he's playing. Like, did you see how Evan Ingram was afraid of getting hit by freaking Dre Greenlaw? Did you see some of the plays where the running back just didn't want to catch the ball?
Man, we out physical. They did look explosive Sunday, and to Danielle's point, are we going to be that way consistently? That's to be seen.
That's to be seen. We're going to probably miss some players here and there.
My guess is that we will get back to our explosive nature and get back to dominating. Because to be honest, that is one of our only paths to being a Super Bowl contending.
Just playing like that
is to play like we can't be a team that is a middle of the road. We don't have that type. Yes, I love Purdy, but he has not shown yet to be the type of quarterback that's going to be able to like come from behind, and play in those tight fourth quarter games. I think he will get to that in his career, but right now he's still young, and that's fine. I think he just had his 17th start, so he'll get there. But our defense, I'm going to say it's going to remain explosive like it was in Jacksonville and not be what it was the 2 weeks before.
It really depends on our depth pieces too, because if we got some of the guys that can step in pretty well, we'd be all right. As far as our depth chart, I mean, you look at the rest of our guys, I think secondary is probably one of our weakest spots because I know a lot of our fans are acting like it's not the biggest concern, but I really look at the nickel spot more than I look at the outside corner. Like, don't get me wrong. Ward is solid. He has his moments. I'm not really as concerned about him as our cornerback. I mean,
right.
I like Lenore playing the outside more than he does at the nickel. He was supposed to play nickel, but he's not that good at the nickel spot. So I like him at the outside better. But as far as the nickel spot with Oliver, nah. Hopefully he does not see another snap. I mean, Abry Thomas, do we really have to go with Abry Thomas if we're that desperate to put him out there? I just don't see.
Hey, he caused that fumble in the red zone.
Yeah, he did. He did. It's one good game.
Abry's had some decent moments and some bad moments.
Yeah, let's give him a golf clap. I mean, he did a good job, but for how long? For how long?
And the sideline got so hype it took his touchdown away.
They did. They messed it up. That was one thing Thomas did so well. I'll admit that. Right. But one thing that Abry Thomas did so positive was that touchdown was taken away from him. Man, he's kind of like our new Dante Johnson now, man. Just doesn't play flashy, but plays okay.
Oh, so back to that. What do you think about the Verrett signing?
Ooh, to the practice squad, man. Verrett was signed to the practice squad. You're bringing back familiar face. You're bringing back somebody that the players respect, and he influenced the locker room. I mean, I think bringing him in just to have him there on the practice field would probably be good, and maybe if injuries stack in, he can just step in and play. So I feel it's not a big risk. It's more like a low risk to get him in. If he plays well, that's even a huge bonus.
Right. I agree. I mean, I don't see him coming off the practice squad. Hopefully he doesn't have to. But to your point, it could be a morale booster for the team, right? Because one thing, he's fought through a lot of injuries. You know what I mean? And he's still fighting. A lot of people would have given up by now. You know what I mean? And for him to keep playing through like all these ACLs and Achilles, that just shows he got a lot of heart. And I heard a story somewhere that they said in one of his workouts, like teammates were showing up to support. And that's not something that usually happens. So that means, to your point, he's highly thought of and highly respected within that locker room.
And he feels like he hasn't even finished his journey. So it's like the sad part. Like,
right.
I mean, Jason Verrett is a feel-great story because he was a first-round draft pick from the Chargers, but this man can never stay healthy. But he's the kind of guy, like, if he can have one healthy season, maybe he is the difference maker for the team. But I think getting him in as a depth piece on the practice squad would probably be a huge bonus because let's say hypothetically, if we were to look for somebody we trusted, we know Jason Verrett is somebody we can depend on if it happens. But I think with our cornerback depth, we're pretty solid. Like Darrell Luter's going to be out there, so he's already activated off the PUP.
Right.
So I already put that out there. Like, dude, I had this Jason Verrett report video on TikTok, bro. It's already like close to 40,000 views, bro. Massive people, bro. It's just a different vibe on TikTok. But, dude, like, all you got to do is do a green screen and just do your reports, bro. And people just flap in like crazy, bro.
Oh, cool.
Don't even have to promote my shit. Don't even have to promote my brand. It just people just keep sliding in.
Oh, that's cool. I might have to check that out there and try it out.
Yeah, it's something good.
CG put me on the game.
Yeah, TikTok is kind of like another thing, but it's fun. You'll get some good interaction. You might get a lot of the negative comments sometimes from other people, but positive mostly. But you get a little bit of that stuff, man. That's the territory you get.
So, you win DBs. I'm not worried about DBs. We didn't invest money in our defensive backs, right? I mean, Ward is getting paid, but where is all our money spent on defense?
It's on our pass rushers.
It's on our pass rushers. That's who
I mean,
if our pass rushers do their job, we don't have to worry about the secondary.
Secondary just does whatever they has to do. I mean, the defensive line takes care of itself. Like, we just got Chase Young basically for a freaking damn good deal. It's like,
so if he leaves, we get a compensatory 3rd round pick back. So
yeah. You ever seen that kind of deal where it's more like you get how you get that coupon or something, or a little discount or something you get out of a thing, but instead, if it doesn't turn out good, you can just always return it back in.
Right.
And you don't have to pay a dime for that. But under this circumstances, dude, I think the league's going to have to try to find ways to get rid of the minority draft choice, bro, because Niners have been mastering that shit. They've just been mastering it. Like, we've used those type of picks for other reasons.
I don't think the league will get rid of it.
No, but I mean, I don't think they will, but I think they'll try to find some ways to get rid of that issue, because everybody's starting to say, how the hell the Niners doing that? They're manipulating the system.
That's what the Patriots did for decades. When you're winning, if you're not, and I'm not saying it is cheating, but if you're finding quality coaches and they happen to be of color, and at the same time, when you lose them, you're able to gain draft picks. I mean, because it's not like he's hiring black coaches or minority coaches that can't coach, right?
No, he's hiring guys that are smarter, so it's not like
so you got Salah, D'Amico, and Mike McDaniels.
Yeah, those are guys that know the game.
And so, I just think that's an easy fix. That's an easy thing. I know. And Shanahan's kind of a younger guy still in his early 40s. Probably grew up around, they say he still listens to Lil Wayne and all that. So,
I mean, he's still cool with it. So that's the weird part about him. He's got to relate to the players in a way. So, the crazy part is, dude, I think another team's going to take one of our coaching staff. I think it's going to be Steve Wilkes getting an opportunity once again for some reason.
Hopefully, I mean, to be honest, he did a good job at Carolina the last half of the year last year once he took over for Matt Rule, and they're probably wishing they hired him now, because look at Carolina now.
They're not even getting competitive, bro. It's like when he was out there, the players were playing their hearts for Steve Wilkes.
Right.
But a lot of our fans are criticizing his play calling, dude. Like, the guy's barely adjusting to our defense. And I wasn't one of those guys that say, you need to fire him. No, dude. I say you got to be patient with this guy. This guy was good on 5 games. 5 games, the energy changed. Why would you want to fire a guy who's just – he gave us the best start.
Right.
Like, we've always had slow starts.
And people always got to go back and look. D'Amico's first year wasn't all peaches and cream. Like,
same with Salah.
We had to get – did you hear the story about Salah?
Oh, dude, I remember a while back when Salah was our play calling defense, bro. I called his ass for play calling, but I never said fire him. I just kept saying his play calling is kind of like whatever.
Right. Well, no, it turns out Kyle was really on him. There's stories out there like they almost came to blows. Like John Lynch had him in the office because I guess Kyle is really overbearing on his coaches, even more so than players.
So there was an incident where he almost got into a collide with Robert Saleh.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, bro. I mean, Robert Saleh was something, bro. He was a firing coach.
Yes. But the defense wasn't. I think it was a year that we started off like 0-8, 0-9, whatever the year we traded for Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
And obviously losing all those games, frustration is going to pile up, and I guess they got into it.
But I think it built their relationship even better.
Yeah. But also these guys go to coach, they want to compete. And so
I mean, D'Amico was somebody I liked when we actually promoted him. I'm like saying, hey, man, I'm cool with that move because I had experience as a linebacker playing the NFL, and he's already having a good coaching career so far.
And also his reputation is very solid throughout the league. Anybody who talks to D'Amico, I think he was almost voted team captain his second year.
Yeah, even in the first year in the NFL, dude, he was definitely like – he was even like a guy that players respected in the locker room, even as a player or even as a coach, bro. He just knew how to relate to the players and all that stuff. And let's see. You know, I think Low Jackson wanted to put in this concern. I don't know about being worried about Lenore. As long as he doesn't go on the slot, bro. I think Lenore on the outside's better. I mean, I get it because if you put Lenore in the slot, bro, I don't think he matches up with the slots. I think if you put Lenore on the outside, he's very effective. But if you look at the Pro Football Focus, he actually had 300 plus snaps without allowing a single touchdown. I don't know if that stat. I don't know if that matters.
To me, Lenore has been more reliable than Travarius Ward.
Yeah. That's the point.
Had that big pick against the Rams the first week. He played solid against Kirk this past weekend. I like Lenore.
I mean, if you put him outside, I'm cool with it. But slot, forget about it. I'm not gonna even bother with Lenore at the slot. If we can I don't know, man. It's just then we have to put Thomas outside, which is pointless. Man, like I don't know who would play outside. Like I think they're trying to go with I think they're trying to put Lenore in the slot, and it's just not his thing. It's like
I think it's just gonna come down to matchup
wise and all that.
What they play, who they play.
They better not put Oliver out there in the slot against Godwin. That would be terrible. I mean, Luter, I don't know. I heard good reviews about this kid, so maybe there's a good chance we might see him out there, but we'll see.
I see Jim Everett in the comments. Is that Jim Everett?
Jim Everett's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. He's
Jim Everett or Chris Everett?
Jim Everett, like he's just he's a funny guy. He's one of them Rams trolls or those guys that comes in consistently. Like as long as he's not personally attacking nobody, I don't got no issue with him. I mean, he's always kind of been like a guy that just bashes our team, but he's always kind of been respectful to the comment section.
Right. So let's move. Who do you got? What are our X factors on offense?
X factors, bro. We're already getting to that cat. X factors. Since you want to talk about X factors, we can do 3 keys of the game with those X factors too. I mean, there's a lot of factors into these games. So like, okay, we can discuss X factors. Who do you want? Who do you expect to be the X factor for the Buccaneers, man?
The Buccaneers. You already said it, Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is the X factor, bro. Like, it don't matter. You got to get one. I think Travarius Ward would have to be your best matchup on Mike Evans because of his size and everything. I think as long as we can cover Mike Evans, I think that would just make it on Chris Godwin.
Right.
But like Low Jackson just said best, you don't want Lenore on Chris Godwin. So maybe I might just take a chance on I would want to put Lenore outside. Even if it has to put Oliver out there. I know Oliver's not the greatest, but what other choice, bro? I don't want to put Thomas on the other side.
Right.
I mean, Thomas seems good outside when he has to, but can he play the nickel a little bit? Maybe he might be okay over there.
So this is where losing those first round picks, those 3 first round picks kind of shows up, right?
Yeah.
We lack of depth in your secondary as far as talent. We have players, but they're not high-level talents, and then lack of depth and talent on your offensive line. So I think for Tampa, their keys will be their defensive line getting after our offensive line.
Yeah.
And to your point, their receivers getting off on our secondary. And so from an offensive perspective, they have not been able to run the ball. We have been susceptible to giving up rushing offense, but I think we kind of short some of that up last week. And so they're going to attack our DBs and attack our offensive line.
Yeah, they're going to do that because they're going to try to pressure Brock Purdy more. But the factors for Tampa Bay is like Mike Evans. If he gets going, this offense is going to keep going. But they just don't have a running game. It just doesn't scare me like most running games we've seen. I mean, Travis Etienne, we just limit the guy to 30-something yards. So it's not like –
I mean, we beat him up so much they stopped running with him.
They stopped running the ball, and that could be the same thing with the running back they got. So, I mean, on defense, they only have this amount of talent. They have 2 good linebackers, and their safety is pretty damn good. Winfield, he's pretty damn good. I mean, their cornerbacks are a little suspect a little bit.
Right.
I think what's their factor is they want to slow down our running game. So for them to have a chance, they got to slow down Christian McCaffrey and force Brock Purdy to beat them.
I agree.
So for us to win this game against the Bucs, it's pretty obvious. Get towards Baker Mayfield. Because if we can get pressure on Mayfield, you know how Mayfield is. He'll try to run for his life, try to extend a play and overthrow a play, or try to – I've seen this guy do it in Oklahoma. He always has his moments. But when he was with the Cleveland Browns, he does the same thing. As long as we can get pressure up front to this guy, we should be good.
I agree. I think for our offense, let's switch the lanes. X factor, obviously, is McCaffrey getting this run game going. Are you a big fan of deferring or taking the ball at the kickoff?
Man, like I think deferring is just smart because you get the ball halftime.
I agree. But with the way our offense has opening drives and how I think we like to play from ahead for this team, and to Danielle's point and a lot of other people, the defense has been inconsistent, right?
Yeah.
Our best unit, especially fully healthy, has been our offense. And in the past, I would agree. We had the number 1 defenses over like the last 2 years. Let's defer. But I would rather take the ball because I think we deferred against Minnesota. And granted, we did get a pick, but McCaffrey fumbled and they scored. I always would, with this team's identity and how we play, I always want to be playing from ahead.
Yeah, you always do. But the smart part is you can always make this a different game at halftime. You get the ball.
Right.
Like true. At first, I'm always okay with getting the ball first. But if you can get it last and you have a chance to, let's say we're up by a touchdown or 2 before halftime. I mean, like halftime, you get the ball, get a chance to get some more points on the board.
Right.
But like you said, if we get the ball first and score, we're on a roll. So we'll see. But I mean, I defer it because I want to see how our defense responds first, so we can see what they're made of. And I always see our defense do something. So if our defense was that bad, I would say, man, I want the ball first.
Right.
But if I feel this confident about our defense, I'll say, hey, you know what? We'll get it halftime. Forget it.
Right.
I mean, I think as far as like the scoreboard wise, like you said, we're going to blow the brakes out of Tampa Bay. What kind of score are you feeling, man? Like, what kind of confidence are you feeling, man? I mean, I know a lot of our fans are pumping their chests up and saying we're going to beat them Bucs pretty bad.
I think they're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder because of what we did to them last year. I don't think Baker Mayfield is as talented as Brady. My score would be –
yeah, but Brady wasn't exactly the same as he was last year. He barely
no. But he didn't have the same structure around him in Tampa that he did when he first got – people don't say nothing, and I guess because he's so crazy, people – when they lost Antonio Brown, it took a dynamic piece away from that team.
Yeah.
Because to have him as like your third receiver, second, like that is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And so, yes, Brady wasn't as good, but I think he still would have been if they'd have had – and wasn't Godwin hurt last year? Or he was coming off the ACL, right?
I think he was out there.
I think he was out there, but I think that was his first year back off the ACL.
Yeah, think he was just not the same. I think he was just coming off.
So their squad, even to your point, Brady was old. Their squad wasn't the same. Now they're healthy, but I don't think they are. I don't think my score prediction is going to be 35-21.
Ooh, okay, a close game then. Okay, so it'd be like a 2-touchdown game.
I mean, that's covering the spread. The spread's
covering the spread, but
it's not close. It's still. I mean, it's an NFL blowout. It's not a college blowout, but it's an NFL blowout.
Yeah, 2 touchdown is kind of a blowout, but if you want a real blowout, man, this may be a bold take. You might have to just say, hey, you know what? CG may be correct on this prediction.
Okay.
But the way we're playing, I don't know if Bucs even have an answer, dude. So I had some thoughts of being respectable on the scoreboard, but then I'm like thinking, man, we're on a roll. We're fired. I don't think Bucs are going to stop it. It's like, I'm going to go with like 38-10. It just seems like that kind of game, bro. Just does. Maybe I'm wrong, but dude, I just think this is exactly what we're building onto. The Jacksonville game was a statement. This is another statement.
I think that's a good.
That's a blowout. That's a blowout statement right there.
I think that's a real blowout. That's an NFL, college, flag football.
We did it against them last year. Why not again?
Right.
They're not. I mean, all they have is Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. He's like the second best receiver. But outside of that, who do they got?
Nobody.
Their offensive line is not the same, bro. It's bad. It's worse than the Jags offensive lineman. That's why I feel confident, man. We're gonna get to poor Baker Mayfield, man. That's the sad part.
You've talked me into it, okay? You talked me into it.
I mean,
they're not scoring more than 10 points.
Yeah, but think about it, bro. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line is just it's not the best. Last year they had okay linemen, but now, bro, a lot of their guys left. Some of their guys left. They only got maybe 2 of their tackles, and I think their center is pretty much all they got from there. 3 good linemen. The rest of them are all suspect. Like their interior, like their guards are just god awful, dude.
So okay, who's gonna lead the team in sacks?
Who's gonna lead the team in sacks, bro? Now we're talking. Okay, I gotta say this is gonna have to be another Bosa game, bro. Bosa wants another Baker Mayfield type performance where he gets to him again. But I think Chase might catch up a little bit, so we'll see.
You know who played the best last week?
Who?
In my opinion, Javon Hargrave.
Yep, 1.5 sack, bro. He was still factoring into the game, bro. Like, if you watch the film what Brian Baldigger was putting, bro, he was disrupting a lot of the pressure right up front.
Yeah, I think you're more right than me. They're not scoring 21 points. I put too much respect on their name.
Dude, you got to look at the matchup. Like, matchup-wise, bro, their offensive line is not as good as the Jaguars. If we can get 5 sacks on the Jaguars quarterback, bro, like Lawrence like that, bro, we could do the same with Baker Mayfield.
I agree.
It may be 5 sacks or 6 sacks. Oh, wow, bro. But I don't see Tampa getting nowhere close to, like, I can see them maybe getting 10 points at best. Like, what do they have on defense that can help them? Their defensive line is good against the run on certain occasions.
They are.
Their linebackers their linebackers are pretty good. Shaq Barrett, that's all they got. That's the guy that gets to the quarterback. Shaq Barrett, that is it, bro. I don't know who else they got. It's hard for me to take them. It's hard for me to like respectfully say it, bro, but that's all they got. Like, okay, Shaq is the guy that gets to the quarterback. He's a beast. I'll give him that. But you got Devin White, you got Levante David. That's 2 good linebackers. But your secondary, you got Winfield. He's a baller. But who's the 2 cornerbacks, bro? They get suspect.
I agree.
They're worse than our cornerbacks. Like, that's the issue. We exposed the Jaguars secondary. We can do the same to the Bucs.
All right, let's get off the Bucs for a second.
All right.
We made our predictions. How far can this team go?
Man, how far can we go? Our ceiling is NFC Championship game and go from there. I'm not going to go anywhere higher than the conference championship until otherwise. That's our ceiling. So if we can get to the Super Bowl, we have to get past Philadelphia or any other teams. But I feel like we can make it to the conference championship.
My ceiling is I think they can win the Super Bowl.
See, that's an optimistic ceiling right there, dude. I just think that if we can get past the conference championship first, then I have the optimistic to feel we can win the Super Bowl. But we just have to get past the conference.
Yes, but ceiling is what is the absolute best you think this team can do.
Yeah, winning the Super Bowl is our best ceiling, but I think the worst case scenario is losing the conference championship. That's about as worse as it can be.
I'm tired of losing in the fucking conference championship.
Man, I feel you.
So, this is the year to get it done. Think about it. All these AFC quarterbacks, all these quarterbacks, period, going down around us. I don't view Detroit as strong as people think they are. Seattle, I still think they're a year or two away, another draft or two.
Competitive, yeah. And the Rams might just be a couple more years back to what they were. But
yeah, I mean, I think this year coming up is the first year they have all their picks. And so with this iteration of our team, I think we only have Deebo Samuel under contract one more year, Ayuk one more year. So we got to get it done this year or next year before we start seeing major changes in our roster, right? And so I'm hoping, obviously, Super Bowl, but
we're all hoping that, dude. I'm not discounting it at all, dude. Like we're all hoping to win the Super Bowl this year, but it's like realistically, conference championship and go from there. I don't want to overlook I don't think we have an issue with going into the divisional round or the wild card type playoffs game. I think we can get towards that. It's just, can we stay healthy from down the stretch?
Yeah, I really want this team to get home field too. So
yeah, we don't want to go to Philadelphia. We don't want to go all the way down there. We see what happened last time.
But I also think this team is veteran enough where they can win anywhere.
Yeah,
I'm fully confident in this team. And hopefully they're ready to take the next step. Let's go into Tampa. Let's kick some ass, and then we got a big Seattle game on Thursday night.
Yeah, we got a short week after going against Tampa, so this is gonna be a quick turnaround for us. You know what I mean? So you got to look at the way how it plays out, dude. Like if we can get past Tampa for this game, which I think it should be no problem, bro. Tampa's kind of been an up and down team, but when they had Tom Brady, they won everything. When Tampa didn't have a quarterback, they had Jameis Winston, bro. Jameis Winston, he was a turnover machine, but he wasn't that bad of a quarterback. It was just
what is it when you had 33 touchdowns, 30 picks?
But he was a gutsy guy.
Yeah.
But at least I'll give him credit for that, bro. Like one thing about Jameis Winston and Mayfield, I like that they're not afraid of taking shots down the field. Brock Purdy's the same thing. And speaking of the Seahawks, like we got Joe Stevens, who happens to be a Seahawks fan. We got Seattle on Thanksgiving. This should be a good game for sure.
Is that Seahawks game home or away to Thanksgiving one?
It's going to be in Seattle.
Okay.
That's going to be a game dude, realistically, man, I don't know. Thanksgiving games seem kind of weird, so I don't know. If we can get a revenge.
Don't we have them 2 weeks apart?
Yeah.
We got Seattle, Philly, Seattle?
Yeah. That's the weird part, bro. So we got to play down Seattle and then go down Philadelphia and then come back home and play Seattle. And then I think we got Baltimore on Christmas, man. So
yes, we do.
It's tougher down the stretch.
I mean, that AFC North is brutal.
Yeah, it is.
We beat the wheels off Pittsburgh, but the Bengals and Browns were able to clip us.
Yeah, they did. But Baltimore is the one true team I think is more concerning. Even without Mark Andrews, they're still a good football team.
Right.
I think what makes Baltimore so good is they're well coached. They bring the same culture they brought when Ray Lewis was like there or not. You know, they haven't changed much of that culture. But yeah, dude, I think it's going to be a blowout for Tampa Bay.
Me too.
Ooh. Jim Everett has a statement. This man has a statement. He says the Rams are going to sweep the Sea Chickens, according to him. I don't know, man. Hey, Joe Stevens, that Rams guy's talking smack on you, bro. Hey, I like this kind of weekend. There's quite a few Rams that are actually kind of like believing it can happen. Actually, I do have the Rams actually beat them because based by how they faced Seattle. Seattle has to really get to Matthew Stafford, and they have failed to get to him. Maybe with Leonard Williams in that pass rush they got, they should be able to, but you don't know.
Well, hey, Rams smashed the Seahawks the first week 1.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a Rams fan that weekend because y'all 3-6. I need y'all to knock Seattle off. I don't mind cheering for the Rams this weekend.
That's the only time I'm probably gonna even. This is probably the only time I'm probably gonna cheer for them for this time because, especially with Seattle, they're just half a game behind us.
That's
a
right.
loss actually puts us ahead.
Right.
So that's kind of like thinking hypothetically, yeah. But yeah, man, Stafford does release the ball quickly. But
is he playing? Is he back?
Yeah, he is. He's been medically clear, so he should play. I had a different opinion. I even asked some of those guys. I said, bro, if he plays, I'm gonna have to pick the Rams for this one. If not, I have to go with Seattle because if it's Carson Wentz, bro. If it was Carson Wentz, I'll say the Seahawks. But since it's Stafford, it just seems like another ball game.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to sleep on the Rams on this matchup, but yeah. But that's either here or there, man. Hey, man, we had a good time. We'll definitely catch up sometime, bro. I know you got something good. Hey, but tell everybody where they can find your social media platform and all a bunch of stuff, man.
Oh, man, Keith Murphy, the Unbeaten. Go like and subscribe on YouTube. I put my link in the chat. And, yeah, just like and subscribe, man. Thanks for having me on, man. It's always a good time.
Yeah, anytime. And here's his channel to subscribe. It's right on the comment section. Go check out Keith Murphy, the Unbeaten man. He is unbeaten on this stream. Maybe he'll be unbeaten for the Buccaneers game since he's my first guest for this week. All right, bro. You guys have a great day. And as always, go Niners.
Go Niners.